Hello and welcome to the Owl's Nest. Today we've got a busy video. First, the sideshow leaks have been confirmed, so we'll break down all of those and the implications for the teams involved. Second, Paris has cut 4 of their players and added Sparkle from Element Mystic, so we'll talk about the implications of that. Fleta is being traded from the Seoul Dynasty, and Philly has re-signed Carpe but dropped 2 other players. So let's just dive right into it. So first of all, as I hinted at in the last video, the sideshow leaks have been confirmed. So on a live stream on Sunday night, Sideshow, Custa, and Neptuno were talking about various roster moves, and I'm going to throw them all on screen right now and we can break them all down. So the first piece of information revealed in the video is that the Dallas Fuel were interested in trading closer for Custa, which, if you remember correctly, Custa was a support player for the Dallas Fuel on Season 1, but the Valiant were not interested in closer's salary. However, the Dallas Fuel have signed Gongsu from the Shanghai Dragons for a salary of $240,000. The sources cannot confirm this exact number, but apparently the deal is done and Gongsu will be playing for the Dallas Fuel in 2020. Second, the Los Angeles Gladiators acquired OGE from the Fuel, which makes sense if they are acquiring Gongsu. And Halo of Thoughts is reporting that OGE is being sent to the Gladiators and they'll be receiving Decay in return. So the Dallas Fuel end up receiving both Gongsu and Decay from this whole ordeal. And then the Gladiators will be signing Space to play off-tank with OGE for the 2020 season, and they're signing him for a very large amount of money from the LA Valiant. And according to the video, and we'll dive into this a little bit later, the Valiant are planning on not spending a lot of money on their Overwatch team. The most expensive salaries for the team will be $50,000 to $60,000, and they overall are going to be taking a more Boston Uprising Moneyball approach to this year. However, the former Los Angeles Valiant players, Agilities and Kariv, will be signing with the Toronto Defiant. As well, the former Los Angeles Gladiators superstar SureFour will also be playing in Toronto for the 2020 season. So what does this all mean for the teams involved? First of all, the Los Angeles Gladiators will have a tank line of both OGE and Space. OG was an addition to the Dallas Fuel in Stage 3 of Season 1, and he instantly brought that team up from an already sputtering season and helped lead to the Season 1 Stage 4 success that the Dallas Fuel saw. He wasn't as impactful for Season 2 for the Dallas Fuel, especially as when they left the GOATS meta, the team really struggled. But it'll be interesting to see what he does in the Gladiators organization. Space, on the other hand, was an all-star off-tank from the Los Angeles Valiant, who was playing great for both of the seasons he was involved in. I'm assuming that since his contract year was coming up soon and the Valiant did not want to pay him as much, that it just made sense to send him away in order to sign a cheaper off-tank, which, going into that, the Los Angeles Valiant are planning on operating a cheaper team. In terms of the Valiant spending less money on their players, they released a statement on Twitter saying that they are planning on working within a budget. However, the team is not broke and they're not giving up. They're just planning on signing cheaper players from Path to Pro. As for Dallas, acquiring Gongsu and Decay is a great upgrade for the Fuel. It's gone back and forth on whether Dallas need to upgrade their tank line or upgrade their damage line, and these are both superstar players in their respective positions. And Toronto is now a very high-profile Canadian team. Agilities, SureFour, Kariv, and Nevix are all on that team now, and that could be a really superstar lineup going into 2020. Next up, Paris has cut 4 of their players and added Sparkle, the star player of Element Mystic, to their roster for 2020. So the 4 players that Paris has let go of are LH Cloudy, Finzi, Danye, and Shadowburn. Finzi's a little bit surprising. He was pretty consistent for the Paris Eternal all last season. The Paris Eternal didn't do great, but Finzi always seemed pretty competent at his job. However, this is really bad news for Shadowburn. Shadowburn was on the Philadelphia Fusion for Season 1, but ended up losing his job to EQO. And then for Season 2, he was often in Brig Jail, and by the time he was off of Brigitte, the Eternal had no real shot at the playoffs. It'll be interesting to see if he signs on for a team in Season 3. However, Sparkle and Rush from Element Mystic joining the Paris Eternal is great. Sparkle is one of the star players in Contenders right now, and Rush is his coach. And adding to a Paris Eternal lineup of Soon and Sparkle could play fantastic together. As well, Aid and Levi will also be joining the Paris Eternal coaching staff. And this is an interesting transition because we're starting to see Paris go away from being a strictly EU team, and they are starting to sign Korean players. Next up, Fleta is going to be traded from the Seoul Dynasty to the Shanghai Dragons. This is really shocking because this ends the lunatic high era of the Seoul Dynasty. Fleta was one of the last remaining players from it, but now that he's gone, it's basically a new look Seoul Dynasty. For the Shanghai Dragons, Youngjin has been dropped and Gongsu is being traded to Dallas. So now we're going to see a little bit of a new look for Shanghai Dragons, which definitely had an upward trajectory compared to their season 1. And finally, the Philadelphia Fusion have re-signed Carpe for the 2020 season, but have dropped Elk and KYB. So Elk was a two-way player for the Fusion in 2019, and he came in for a couple of matches, didn't do spectacular, so it makes sense that they're letting him go. And KYB was acquired from a trade with the Charge about halfway through the season, which is the trade that sent Fraggy to the Guangzhou Charge. So yeah, overall, crazy news week this week. I appreciate you guys sticking around for the longer video, and I'm interested to see your guys' thoughts. Who do you guys think is going to be the best team of 2020 with all this crazy roster news? Just a little bit of housekeeping news. I do plan on making a almost summary video of just what are the biggest stories of the offseason so far. Maybe like a top 10, and we'll figure that out. I do plan on posting that eventually. As well as I want to start doing feature pieces, like looking at specific free agents, seeing where they might go, looking at new look teams, seeing how successful they might be, and all of that. So be sure to subscribe. That's the content planned. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, favorite, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon, but whatever else you can do on YouTube to interact. Feel free to follow our Twitter, and that'll do it. You guys have a great day.